net meets every Monday at 8 p.m. here on the 146.73 megahertz. WA3PB repeater gateway of association. Membership in the Two Rivers ARC is not required to check into this net, as already amateurs are welcome. Blank information about the Two Rivers ARC, you can write to us at P.O. Box 225, Greenville, PA, zip code 15047. That's P.O. Box 225, Greenville, PA, zip code 15047. We're also on the Internet's World Wide Web at www.trarc.net. www.trarc.net. Radio Club meetings are held on the third Tuesday of every month, except August and December, starting at 7 p.m. at the Blaine Hill Volunteer Fire Department Social Hall, 409 Oxford Avenue, Elizabeth, PA. Before opening the net for check-ins, there's an emergency or priority traffic at this time. Unheard. Please, when you check into this net, keep your call signs slowly and phonetically. It means spell out your call sign and state the announcements or comments for the net. Okay, do we have any listeners of silent keys in our radio amateurs have recently passed away? Alrighty. Okay, we thought we're checking. So the officers of the Two Rivers ARC wish to check into the net.
W3OC. W3OC, please recognize Kilo Bravo 3 Sugar Tango, Bob, Elizabeth Township. Evening, Chuck. Evening to the net. No traffic.
W3OC. Please copy Kilo Bravo 3, Uniform Whiskey Charlie, Stephen, Boston. Good evening, Chuck, and all else on the net.
Okay, got Kilo Bravo 3 Sugar Tango and Kilo Bravo 3 Uniform Whiskey Charlie. Are there any other members of the Two Rivers ARC Board of Directors wishing to check in?
W3OC. W3OC, please copy amateur station Alpha 3 Oscar Zulu, John and White Oak. Good evening to the net. Good evening to net control. No further comment. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other members of the Two Rivers ARC Board of Directors wishing to check in? Okay, not heard. All right, non-open stations are operating mobile, portable, or outside of Allegheny County to the Two Rivers net.
W3OC. Here's Kilo Bravo 3, Victor Sierra Papa, Dan out here in Beaver County. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening to the net.
Please copy Kilo Alpha 3 Yankee Golf Lima, Bruce in South Collinsville. Hello to the net and no further traffic.
W3OC. This is Kilo Alpha 3, Kilo Sierra Papa, Jim Portable in Carnegie.
W3OC. This is Rich, Kilo Bravo 3, Yankee Indian November 4Q. No further comments.
W3OC. November 3, Zulu Charlie Hotel, Portable, Ricky up here in Knoxville.
W3OC. Check in November 3 Tango Alpha Uniform in 3TAU Norman Penn, Westmoreland County. Good evening, Chuck.
W3OC. This is Kilo America 3, Kilo Echo Victor Mobile. Danny and Plum, good evening, Chuck. No traffic.
W3OC. Please copy Kilo Charlie 3, India Romeo Foxtrot Mobile. W3OC. This is Kilo Bravo 3, Lima November Charlie. Lenny here in the mobile. Good evening, everybody. No traffic.
W3OC.
OC, W3PBD Portable, Sniffling.
W3OC. W3OC. You're joking.
Thank you. I got a bunch of time. Alpha 3 Oscar Zulu, Kilo Bravo 3 Victor Sierra Papa, Kilo Alpha 3 Yankee Golf Lima, Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Sugar Papa Portable, Kilo Bravo 3 Yankee to November, November 3 Zulu, 3 Tango Alpha Uniform, Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Echo Victor Mobile, Kilo Charlie 3 India Radio Fox Mobile, Kilo Bravo 3 Lima November Charlie Mobile, and Whiskey American 2 Papa Bravo Delta Portable. Okay, anybody else? Mobile Portable or outside of the game time?
W3OC. This is Whiskey, Uniform 3 Uniform, Kurt Portable and Elizabeth, no traffic.
W3OC. Please recognize Whiskey America 3 Alpha Hotel Charlie. Antonio here in Pittsburgh. Good evening, Chuck, and everyone on the net. I have no traffic.
Okay, got Whiskey Uniform 3 Uniform Portable, and Whiskey America 3 Alpha Hotel Charlie. Anybody else? Mobile Portable or outside of the game time?
Let me get my...
Okay, all right. Now we'll open up the general check-in. Anyone else hasn't checked in, I can do so. Call them. W3OC. Terrace Killer 3 Hotel India Romeo. Marone, Elizabeth Tachi. Good evening, Chuck. No comment. W3OC. This is W3 Sierra Yankee Radio. Bob and White Oak. Good evening, Chuck, and good evening to everyone on the net. No comments. Okay, got Kilo 3 Hotel India Radio, Whiskey 3 Sierra Yankee Radio. Anybody else? Okay, alrighty, thanks. We'll take a stop at that point. Thank you all for taking the time to check in this evening. We do have a Newsline transmission keyed up on the computer to play in a little bit. You have some general announcements and things like that. Let's see. Two Rivers activities. That's tomorrow night is our July meeting. That's on the 20th. That's tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at the Blaine Hill Volunteer Fire Department, 409 Oxford Avenue in Elizabeth, PA. That's a regular July meeting, plus the refreshments is going to be pizza. So they say, and hopefully many folks will come on for that, and for the meeting too, of course. So that's coming up tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at Blaine Hill Volunteer Fire Company. Okay, let's see, what else we have here? So we have other radio nets during the week on Wednesday night, the Two Rivers ARC Gap Net meets on at 8:30 p.m. And that's on the link 147.12 megahertz, 442.250 repeater system. Thursday night is the TRARC 10 meter net on 28.450 megahertz. That's upper sideband. On the second Saturday of every month, we have the Two Rivers ARC Hampton X Breakfast. That's held at 9 a.m. at Guy's Cornerstone Diner, 620 Longwood Road in McKeesport, Pennsylvania. That's, if you're familiar with Jerry, that's at the entrance, one of the entrances to the Lippy Shopping Center. Okay, I think that's what we got. Our next exam session, we just had an exam session last week up there at Blaine Hill. We're going to have another one in September. Let's see, what's the date on that? Okay, that is on September 14th. That again will be at the Blaine Hill Volunteer Fire Company. So, a little ways off, but there are other exam opportunities if we should take an exam. Okay, looking at the calendar here, I see upcoming activities on the 21st. The Steel City ARC has an exam session coming up scheduled for the clubhouse in Carnegie, PA. Also coming up this weekend, the 24th and 25th. There's an ARES event to coordinate and help with the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix Grand Prix Auto Race at the Chenley Park in Pittsburgh, PA. Anybody wants to sign up for that, you're going to have to do it pretty soon, I think. The coordinator can be reached by phone at 724-217-5458. 724-217-5458. Okay, ancest-wise, let's see. The next one, anywhere here in western Pennsylvania or in parts of Ohio, let's see, we have the July 31st, the Cumberland Valley ARC Hamfest at Cumberland Valley Engine and Machinery Association at the 1501 Crider Church Road in Chambersburg. Okay, on August the 14th, Uniontown ARC Gap Fest is coming up at their club grounds in Uniontown, PA. I found this one out just this evening. August the 15th, the Warren Amateur Radio Association Fest is scheduled for on August 15th at the Cook Senior Services Center. That's at 375 North Park Avenue in Warren, Ohio. I don't know what that looks like. But that one's coming up. On August the 29th, the Skyview Radio Society has their Swap and Shop, their club grounds, 2335 Turkey Ridge Road in New Kensington, PA. In September, on September 12th, is the Butler County ARA Hamfest at their usual location, Unionville Volunteer Fire Department in Butler, PA. Toward the end of September, September 26th, is the Hamfest Association of Cleveland Hamfest at the Cuyahoga County Fairgrounds in Berea, Ohio. I think that's up around Cleveland. The last one I have information on November 7th at the Wacom Hamfest at the Washington County Fairgrounds in Washington, PA. There's a list of Hamfests that I know of in the local area. See back there, we'll kind of get punched up a little bit. Please for having them. Okay. That's kind of what I got. Anybody need anything repeated before we continue? Okay. Well, over the weekend, I got to play radio a little bit. Thank you. Got a chance to do that. Band seemed to be in pretty good shape, at least from 17 meters on down, I believe, at 18 megahertz on down. Seemed to be pretty good, decent shape. There's quite a few stations on various bands, especially 15 and 40. There were quite a few people operating on FT8, digital mode FT8 too, on pretty much all the bands, and a lot of Europeans and Africans and stuff like that coming through, some Far East. So there's the solar fluxes, I think, was 82 today. When you consider a year ago it was 69 or something like that. So things are peaking up a little bit. Of course, 10 meters does open up occasionally. And I encourage you to get on the HF radio, start listening around. And if you're on 10 meters, listen for the beacon stations that are in between 28.2 and 28.3 megahertz per activity. They're CW beacons mostly. Gives you an idea how the bands are opening up. There's been reports that 6 meters has been open too. I can't guarantee that because I don't know. I don't operate 6 meters, but I think when it's opened up, a lot of people get a big thrill with that. So okay, that's kind of all I got. Anybody need any repeats for anything in person? W306. Okay, Two Rivers Met. Don't forget club meeting tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Okay, the Twitch will be on here with 8 o'clock.
Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2281 with the release date of Friday, July 16th, 2021 to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. A giant ham retailer sets its sights on Florida. Success for the first ham youth summer camp in the Americas. And harvesting electricity from your body instead of a battery. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2281 comes your way right now. From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's first independent on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now reporting from Charleston, West Virginia, here is Jim Dameron, NATMW. Ham radio outlet, the nationwide amateur radio retailer in the U.S., has announced that its ongoing expansion plans will include a store in the state of Florida. The new store will join 12 already open in such states as California in the west, where the company is based, to Delaware in the east, Arizona and Texas in the south, and New Hampshire in the north. The company's announcement on social media set off a wave of speculation about the new location, especially on Instagram, where the company wrote, "We're not telling yet. We're open to suggestions." The closest ham radio outlet to Florida is in Atlanta, Georgia. The company, which calls itself the world's largest supplier of amateur radio equipment, is also known for shipping internationally. In other business news, the Dayton Daily News reports that Sandy Mendelson, founder of the legendary Ohio electronics retail store Mendelson's Liquidation Outlet, died on July 3rd at age 77. The downtown Dayton location, which was for decades a magnet for local and visiting hams, especially during Hamvention, closed its doors in late 2019. Its 8-story building was sold to a Columbus, Ohio developer. The first youth ham radio summer camp in the Americas was a success. We hear some details from camp director and Newsline correspondent Neil Rapp, WB9 BPG.
Youth on the Air Camp is off to a roaring start in suburban Cincinnati, Ohio. 23 campers arrived on Sunday and attended orientation. Tim Duffy, K3LR, was the keynote speaker. On Monday, the campers tried their hands at building a radio direction finding receiver that they would use later in the week. They also learned about contesting and practiced with a pair of idle sprints. On one of the sprints, the adults joined in to provide QRM to make the sprints a bigger challenge. On Tuesday, campers learned about D-Star and ballooning. The campers successfully launched and recovered a large high-altitude balloon that reached over 100,000 feet in altitude. They also launched 3 other mid-altitude balloons with whisper and APRS tracking. After enjoying a night of games, the camp proceeded to Kings Island Amusement Park for more team building and some VHF contesting. Thursday featured satellite operation and direction finding, and the camp ended on Friday with an antenna building contest. What made this camp different is that the youth are leading the sessions with a high amount of hands-on learning. The campers have been all smiles and are really enjoying using their ham radio skills. And the campers say, reporting live from Yoda Camp, I'm Camp Director Neil Rapp, WB9 BPG. We add our congratulations to Neil and the campers for their successful contact with astronauts aboard the ISS on Wednesday, July 14th. See it and hear it on YouTube. The link is available in the printed version of this week's script at arnewsline.org. If operating via satellite is as easy for you as stepping outside and pointing your antenna skyward to catch a pass, consider what hams in Switzerland are required to do. Ed Duran, DD5LP, explains.
Switzerland's Amateur Radio Society, the USKA, is reminding hams that the nation's regulator, Ofcom, requires special permits to be requested by all amateurs who wish to use the geostationary ham radio satellite QL100. The regulator is charging 70 Swiss francs, the equivalent of about $76 US. Hams applications must contain all relevant information, including their location, so the regulator can keep track of all Swiss radio operators making use of the transponder on board the satellite. Transmitters are limited to a maximum output of 100 watts PEP on the satellite uplink in the frequency range between 2.4 and 2.41 gigahertz. Ofcom's biggest concern is the potential for interference in the 2.4 gigahertz band, which may be used license-free for industrial, scientific and medical purposes. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Ed Durant, DD5LP.
There's little doubt that although he never held an amateur radio in Red Skelton was quite a ham. Fans of his TV, stage, and film antics will attest to that. Andy Morrison, K9AWM, tells us about a special event that recently honored this Indiana native.
Getting on the air to mark the 108th birthday of the late Red Skelton, special event station K9R exceeded its organizers' expectations. Operators called QRZ for nearly 2 weeks to end on Sunday, July 18th, and by the latest count before Newsline's deadline, the log was fast approaching more than 700 QSOs, both DX and domestic. The QRZ page was getting 400 hits per day. Organizer Mark Stephen Williams, K9GX, said this first-time activation was designed to coincide with the festival being held by the Red Skelton Museum of American Comedy in the comedian's hometown of Vincennes, Indiana. The museum is showcasing an exhibit called Airwave Anniversaries, spotlighting broadcast high points in his career. Mark said that when he spoke to the museum's director, Ann Pratt, about a possible activation, they both agreed the exhibit and the festival paired naturally with the special event. Ultimately, the ham bands themselves also hosted a kind of exhibit, one of memories. Listen to this personal memory from a very enthusiastic YL.
Martin, Kilowatt 9 radio. Whiskey Foxtrot 3, Juliet. Whiskey 5, Alpha Zulu Oscar. Woo-hoo! I've been trying for a long time. I'm in Texas. The name is Patty, and I love Red Skelton. I have been fortunate enough to know about Red Skelton through a mutual friend of his who's buzzing.
K9R organizers said that while waiting to receive their QSL cards, hams who made contact are invited to upload pictures of themselves and their shack to the Facebook page of the Red Skelton Museum of American Comedy. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Andy Morrison, K9AWM, proud to be one of the K9R operators.
Hams in the UK have weighed-in issues designed to help the IARU deal with changes facing its member society. Jeremy Booth, G4NJH, picks up the story from here.
More than 1,000 amateur radio operators in the UK have replied to the Radio Society of Great Britain's survey about ham radio's response to a changing world. The International Amateur Radio Union is looking to address ways in which national societies can boost membership and support ham radio's growth. The RSGB was one of a number of national societies to invite amateurs to voice their opinions on various issues. Concerns included strengths, opportunities, weaknesses and strengths of amateur radio. Hams took the survey in May throughout the UK and Crown dependencies. A summary of the responses will be published in the Radcom magazine and will also appear on the RSGB website at rsgb.org/survey. IARU Region 1 will be holding its General Conference workshop in October in Serbia. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jeremy Booth, G4NJH.
Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the K6PBR repeater in Ventura, California, on Sundays at 6 p.m. local time. W306. Imagine powering your own portable station simply by using your body instead of a battery. Graham Kemp, VK4BB, tells us about some research in Israel that makes that sound more real than you may think.
Researchers call it piezoelectricity, and it's been around for a while. The accumulation of electrical charges from solid materials is actually not a new concept, at least in the lab. Now, researchers at Tel Aviv University believe this nanotechnology will one day be able to power medical devices, such as pacemakers, by transforming the body's mechanical movements into electricity. Now, that's because they've discovered a way to do this using materials that are non-toxic, making them safe for implantation into the body. The research was published recently in the journal Nature Communications. Now the time has come for this to be tried out on humans. researcher, Professor Awood Gazet, said the practical applications extend beyond medicine. He said the device could also power streetlights simply by being placed on the road to capture energy from tyre movement. We hams, of course, will be watching and waiting for results of this new development in green energy. For those of us who operate portable or mobile, it certainly puts all kinds of possibilities for power in motion. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Graham Kemp, VK4BB. In Europe, it's all about amplitude modulation for some amateurs. Jeremy Booth, G4NJH, tells us about an event celebrating this respected mode.
The Amplitude Modulation Amateur Radio Society is a newly formed group, but the mode it celebrates has been around for quite some time. It's the original voice mode on the amateur radio bands. The society is joining with AM Amateur Radio Europe to host the summer AM QSO party, which is happening from the 16th to the 18th of July. The AM QSO party organisers said on their website that although this is not a contest, there will be certificates awarded for points earned. The main purpose of the event is to encourage QSOs in conversation. Hams are expected to be operating on the AM portions of 160, 80, 40, 20, 15, 12 and 10 metres. A hopeful sentiment on the website adds, quote, "Fingers crossed that propagation allows us to use the higher bands for longer distance QSOs around Europe and even further afield." End of quote. Details can be found on Facebook by searching for AM Amateur Radio Europe. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jeremy Booth, G4NJH.
When you're a ham with something big to celebrate, there's only one right way to start the festivities. Turn on the rig and get on the air. Ed Durant, ED5LB, introduces us to some hams in Finland who are doing just that.
Hams in Finland have two reasons to celebrate. Not only is the Finnish Amateur Radio League, SRAL, halfway through marking its centennial year, but COVID-19 domestic restrictions have been relaxed throughout the country. In an organised event lasting through to the end of the year, hams are activating in a number of amateur radio carnivals, turning the HS bands into one massive party. The call signs include OF2HQ and OF0HQ, which are being used by a dozen hams on both CW and SSV. OF0HQ is being operated from the Åland Islands archipelago, where 3 HF substations are located. Other call signs taking part are OH100 SRAL, the official SRAL Centennial Jubilee Station, and OH2A, the SRAL headquarters station in Helsinki. The Finnish Signal Corps will be using the call sign OI3AX. Carnival contact logs should be sent to OF9X at sral.fi in January 2022. There's a touch of Christmas spirit in the celebration, by the way. Santa Claus himself will be signing the OHNL100 certificate given to hams who score 1,000 points. The top 10 continental highest scorers can also count on Santa's signature. The Finnish call sign OF9X has traditionally been the Santa Claus call used during the holiday season. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Ed Durant, DD5LP.
In the world of DX, be listening for members of the international group known as the Slow Morse Code Club, which is celebrating its first anniversary. They'll be using CW and the special call sign TM1SMC for France, GB1SMC for England, and EI1SMC for Ireland. The anniversary event will be on the air between July 17 and July 25th. The call sign TM1SMC will also be using SSB. QSL cards will be sent via the Bureau. Send your QSL cards and SWL reports to F4IIQ. Visit the QRZ page of TM1SMC for more details. Be listening for Brian, GW4DVD, active as J88PI from Palm Island, also known as Prune Island, in the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Island group between July 24th and August 1st. He'll be on the air holiday style on 40, 20, 17, 15, 10, and 6 meters using CW, SSB, SSTV, and ST8. Send QSLs to his home call only. The Svalbard DXpedition team has been joined by Rune, LA7THA, as the operators get ready for activation between July 21st and July 26th. They'll be using the call sign JW0W. Send QSLs to QSL Manager Charles M0OXO through OQRS Direct or via the Bureau. The full log will be uploaded to Logbook of the World. John KL2A will be active from Anchorage, Alaska throughout July on 160 through 6 meters using mainly CW and possibly FT8. Send QSLs to VO Box 924, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho 83816 in the U.S. Members of the Bulgarian Radio Club, Logothenic LV1KCP, are honoring yet another of the Orthodox saints during July. They will be using the call sign LV950TM. This is part of a year-long activity toward the All Saints 2021 Award. Send QSLs via the Bureau or direct to LV1KCP. For more details about the awards, visit the website at www.lv1kcp.com. August's special event will have the call sign LV363ER. For our final story, we ask, what's better than being in a ham radio family? How about having your identical twin right beside you in the shack for going on 8 decades? Jeff Peterson, KZ0ZGY, introduces us to these two YLs.
Janet Robidoux, K0JE, and her sister, Janice Robidoux, K0JA, are the real Minnesota twins. Their kind of teamwork has nothing to do with the American Pro Baseball team by the same name in their home state. Their teamwork reflects more on the sisterhood of a pair of Midwestern YLs who are not just identical twins, but amateur radio operators. Being 86 means Janet and Janice have become DXers through life itself. At one time or another during their 8 decades on the planet, they have engaged in canoe racing, competitive bowling, wildflower photography, and adventure travel to every U.S. state except Hawaii. They've taken part in volunteer efforts close to home and in enviable DX locations such as Indonesia and Tonga. They've also traveled to visit ham friends for eyeball QSOs in New Zealand and Australia. They have long since sold their recreational vehicle, their ice skates, and their snowshoes, and have stopped climbing their 65-foot tower outside their home 11 years ago, but they're still game for a good hunt. At the home QTH, they've chased national park radio operators while using CW and the SSB. They also hunt and pout the big DX with the help of 1,000 watts of power and an antenna they rotate to pull their quarry in. Their station log may be filled with countless QSOs, but as they told the Star Tribune newspaper, it's the blank pages they're focusing on now. Janet said, quote, "We always want to get more countries," end quote. Outside the front door of their garden, where the sisters' steel tower stands, possibilities still grow abundantly amid flowering annuals. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
With thanks to AM Amateur Radio Europe, Amateur News Weekly, the ARRL, CQ Magazine, David Theo, K7DB, Dayton Daily News, DXWorld.net, IARU, Finnish Amateur Radio League, Ham Radio Outlet, QRZ.com, Mark Stephen Williams, K9GS, Radio Society of Great Britain, the Star Tribune newspaper, Southgate Amateur Radio News, shortwaveradio.de, Ted Randall's QSO Radio Show, The Times of Israel, USKA, WTWW Shortwave, and you, our listeners, that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. Write to us at newsline@arnewsline.org. For more information or to support us, visit our official website, arnewsline.org. Be sure to follow some of these stories as they get a more in-depth look on the YouTube channel of 100 Watts and a Wire. Search for the video segment with the title Two Stories. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Jim Dameron in a TMW in Charleston, West Virginia, saying 73. And as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2021, all rights reserved.
Good evening, 8:35 p.m.
BS3OC net control for the Tubers ARC. Net tech includes this week's Newsline transmission. Just one little local point of news. The August issue of QST magazine has just appeared. Again, a lot of the people's mailboxes. there's an article in there by a local ham. It's called a simple adaptable AGC circuit for the simple high frequency communications receiver. It's by our local fellow ham, Jimmy Porkin, WA3TFS. Jim has written many articles in QST over the years. He's been developing a lot of equipment. You can find him sometimes at HamFest with this kind of stuff, but he's got a new thing on there that helps with the APC circuit for a receiver that he built. He designed something, and it was introduced in the May of QST magazine. So you might want to take a look at that, or you'll probably find information on his website, www.wa3tfs.com. www.wa3tfs.com. One of the truly unique fellows here in the area does a lot of good work on this kind of stuff. Okay. Let's see. I guess that's all I got. We'll take some late check-ins. I don't know if I can check in. It's not so far.
WC3P, Bob and Coreopolis. Good evening. W3OC. This is Kilo Bravo 3. Uniform, Quebec, Radio, Mark, Mobile, Wilkins Township. Back to net. W3OC. W3OC, please recognize Kilo Charlie 3, November Foxtrot, Mike and Scott Township. Good evening to everyone on the net. Good evening, Chuck. Net traffic.
Okay, thank you. I got Whiskey Charlie 3 pop-up. Kilo Bravo 3 Uniform Quebec Radio Mobile. By the way, your signal is breaking up. Kilo Charlie 3 November Foxtrot. Anybody else? I'm going to close the net out this hour. It's 8:38 p.m. local time. 0038 UTC. I said 21 check. I'd like to thank everybody who did check in this evening. Everybody have a good week, and hopefully some of you folks can make it out to the Tours meeting tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. With that, we're continuing to repeat back to general use. This is W3OC, also known as W3O, and closing on that. Thanks.
WA3PBD, WC3P Collins.